You've seen this effect before. Quick, glitchy, gone in a fraction of a second. But this isn't just one effect. It's multiple effects that together to consume. They go into one frame glitch. Mostly used as a transition, but you can use it however you want. I have put together two variants of this effect, each being different to one another, and you don't need any package to do it. Let's start with the simple one. I got two footages here. And right away you'll notice that they have some basic transitions going on. They act like a complementary effect. More on that later. So to start, create an adjustment layer. Let's call it effects. And trim it to one frame. They call it one frame for a reason. Start by applying the fine edges effect. This effect basically isolates the edges of the layer. But we don't want this white background. We need the opposite. So check this invert box to make it black. Next, we want to turn into a kind of horizontal lines, a scattered horizontal lines. For that, apply the directional blur and set the direction to 90 and increase the blur length value until it looks like these kind of lines. Okay, now we want these lines to stand out more, and I don't want these parts, only the lines. So we need to call the effect curves and create an S shape to highlight the bright values and darken the shadows. This will make the lines stand out more and remove the unwanted parts. Now we need some glows, and I have seen that the best way to use the glow effect is to make multiple copies of it, bring down the intensity and increase the radius with each copy. So for the first glow, set the intensity to 2 and the radius to 30. For the second glow, we can lower the intensity to 0.5 and increase the radius to 100. Repeat for a third glow if needed. I think 3 is enough. Got a pretty decent glow. Okay, everything looks good. But if you apply it back, it's barely noticeable. It's just one frame. So we need to make sure it actually stand out. Just enough for our eyes to pick it up. To do that, we need more intensity. Simply duplicate the fine edges effect until it's strong enough. I think that's enough. Again, if you play it back, our eyes slightly notices it. Finally, we need one more frame to make this seem more like a glitch. Don't worry, you only need one extra effect for that. Move this frame one frame forward and duplicate it and move it back and delete all the effects on this adjustment layer. You can do this by pressing Ctrl+Shift+E and apply the invert effect. Set the channel to luminance. That's it. That's all there it is. The thing is, you can make a variety of variations out of this effect, or by adding other effects as well. There is no rule book here. That said, let's roll into the second one. I have the same footage here, but with different effects. So once again, let's start with the creative adjustment layer. Trim it to one frame. Let's call it again effects. Then apply the Venetian blinds effect. And if I increase the transition completion, you can see that some lines are popping up. Let's put it to 50. And I want these lines to be horizontal. So set the direction to 90. Feel free to play with the width if you want, but I'm going to keep it as it is. Next, I want to take the saturation out of this to make it black and white. For that, apply the hue and saturation effect and lower the saturation all the way down. That's it for the one frame. For the second frame, duplicate this adjustment layer and move it one frame forward and remove all the effect from it. And I want to increase the contrast of this footage by applying the curves effect. Creating a shape would do that. Now I want to make this footage black and white. You can either lower the saturation with the hue and saturation effect, or simply apply the black and white effect. Next, apply the posterize effect and lower the level to 2. Now we need some distortion. Apply the displacement map effect. The thing about this effect is that it requires a map layer, usually a black and white values, to create a displacement. Right now, if I increase the horizontal displacement, you can see that the pixels are shifting in a weird way. That's because the effect is using the footage itself as the map layer, which is why we are getting this weird distortion. Obviously, this isn't the look we are going for. We need more like a glitchy displacement. So we need a map layer. Create a solid layer. Let's call it map. Apply the fractal noise effect and set the noise type to block. Increase the contrast. Toggle the transform to uncheck the uniform scaling to stretch the map by increasing the scale width and lower the scale height. I think this might work. We don't have to see this layer because it's a map layer. Now we need to navigate this map layer to this effect. You can do that from here. There are our map layer. Now we need to tell After Effects to take the effect into account. You can do that from changing source to effects. Yeah. Now the displacement happening according to the map layer. Play with the values. I think this is it. Yes. Now we can duplicate it and put it in between these two footages or transition.